Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Welcome to another Get Ready With Me. It always feels very intimate to start these videos this close and this bare-faced, but I maybe one day I'll get used to it. I wanted to film a Get Ready With Me again. I have done some thinking about what I wanted to do with my makeup because I wasn't sure, and I have taken out the palette of Glam Shop singles. I want to know how much behind this. It's in, I don't know, I think I rolled it into No Pan Left Behind just to finish doing No Pan Left Behind on this. So there's quite a few shades in here that I still need to use. It's mainly blues and some darker greeny blues, and then a lot of orangey gold type shades. So today, I was thinking of using the Magic Mini, but then there's similar shadows that I want to use, that I could use in the new Twilight palette. I think the Magic Mini is the best option anyway. That's more of a darker shadow. Anyway, we will see. But I wanted to do a very smoky look. I'll put a picture up of my inspiration. This is a very, very old photo of Kristen Stewart. And I remember back, way back in the day when I had a YouTube channel. Like, I started that in high school. Unfortunately, I deleted everything, which I don't regret many things in life, but that's still one thing that I do really regret in life, is deleting that YouTube channel and all of the videos that were on there. Anyway, I recreated that look way back then, and I have some shades here that I still need to use that I think will work nicely for that look, so I'm just gonna go for it. I honestly don't know how it's gonna turn out, but it's fine. And I decided, you know what, let's just chat while I do my makeup. I caught myself in the last couple of days after posting that first Get Ready With Me, and I got a lot of good responses. I've just caught myself whenever I was getting ready to sort of have a, well, that's a monologue then, in my head, as if I was talking to you guys. And I was doing the same this morning while I was pondering about what I wanted to do with my makeup. So that was a good indication that it was time to film. I'm gonna slightly zoom you guys in, I think. Is that a good angle? Don't expect high value class, what's the word? Good makeup. I'm just doing whatever. So that's what we're gonna do. I already primed my eyes and set my primer, so I'm just gonna go for it, I guess. It's kind of a warm toned smoky eye, and I remember when I recreated it, I even vividly remember what shadow I used. I had this single shadow, which was a very nice bronzy shimmer, and I put that in my crease. Now, if I really study that photo, that's not really what is going on, but she has a very warm crease and then smoky cool tones on her lid. So that's what I'm gonna try and recreate. I am using a shade from my Viseart Quad as like my first transition shade, which is a very light, it's like a brown orangey shadow. Oh, I think I did pan. Well, that's the tiniest pan in the world, but oh well. We put that on. So as I was pulling up this inspo photo of Kristen Stewart. Is it Kirsten Stewart? Kristen Stewart. I should really look that up before I just say her name wrong the entire video. Not that it matters, not that she will ever see this. Probably many people have. Kristen Stewart, right? Yeah. Okay. Glad we got that out of the way. So when I was pulling up this photograph of Kristen Stewart, ooh, that's powdery shadow. I just thought about what we could chat about, and I think the best thing to talk about right now is childhood crushes. Because as many of you may know, Kristen Stewart was in Twilight. I was obsessed with Twilight when it came out. I was in high school. I was about 14, I think, when the first book came out. I'm not really sure. I remember at least like being 15 and 16 and being very, very obsessed. I think that was a time when New Moon came out. Gosh, I was obsessed. And I really, really was in love with Robert Pattinson. Like, oh my gosh, over the moon, this man. So I'm gonna do something controversial, I think, and put a shimmer in my crease, but I feel like it can work. So I was obsessed with Robert Pattinson, and honestly I was also quite obsessed with Taylor Lautner when he came into New Moon. Like, he was in Twilight, but not that. Yeah, I didn't have a prominent role. Wow, he didn't have much screen time. That's what I'm trying to say. So when New Moon came out, of course that changed, and I was also very obsessed with that boy. And like, maybe you've seen my ColourPop haul, maybe you didn't. I will link it for you if you haven't. But I bought the Twilight palette. When that came out, I instantly was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to rewatch Twilight because I love Twilight. Now, they're not the best movies, and that's okay, but I just enjoy the sort of sentimental feeling that I get when I watch those movies, because, well, I loved them so much when I was younger that it brings back sort of that feeling of what I felt back in the day when I watched them. So it's not per se that I'm overly excited to watch the movie because it's a good movie or because I enjoy the movie, but I more so enjoy that feeling of sort of nostalgia that I get when I watch the movies. And then this story is like all over the place. And then I recently saw a TikTok that featured Robert Pattinson, and it just took me by surprise how much of the sort of feeling I still had for this man. Like, obviously, I'm older now, so the whole teen crush, heartthrob, I'm gonna marry this man feeling that's long gone, obviously. I'm already married and I wouldn't trade my husband for the world. He's the best person ever. So that's not even a question, an option. Like, I'm pretty sure, and I always say this to him, if anything happens and we break up, or I don't know, the relationship ends, I'm not gonna have a new man. I will just have 10 cats and be done with it. I don't care for men. I don't like them. It's sort of a miracle that I like my husband. I just don't like men. That's the tea. That's it. I don't see myself dating a woman either. I feel like I could like live together with someone and be friends, but that's about it. Where was I going with this story? Okay, yeah, so the whole feeling of, okay, I'm gonna marry this man at one point and daydream about how we meet and how he thinks I'm amazing, that doesn't happen anymore. That's long gone. But I still had some kind of a feeling. I was like, oh, wow, there's still something there. And I cannot really explain it because it feels so different to when I first got that like celebrity crush. But there's still something there. I, by the way, have put a lot of shimmer in my crease. I don't know if you can see. Half of it is on my face right now, but we'll worry about that later. I'm gonna get a darker shade. I'm gonna go for, or do I do a brown? Okay, maybe I am gonna do a brown. Just to layer a darker shade on top of. Okay. And the same thing has actually also happened with Elijah Wood. I think in, oh gosh, what video was it? I mean, I think it has to be one of the updates for my Lord of the Rings project pan that I did last year. I briefly touched upon that I was gonna meet Elijah Wood. I was gonna go to a Comic-Con and I was gonna meet him. This is very patchy, but I'm gonna trust the process. And I remember I bought tickets like on a whim. I saw that he was coming and I was like, if I don't do this now, I'll probably never ever have a chance again. So I'm just gonna do it. So I did. And the whole time leading up to it, I was excited, but not like overly excited. My cat wants to come inside. It's always when I'm filming these. Hold on, he's inside. If you can hear him crunching in the background, he's eating. So where was I? Leading up to that event, like I was excited to meet Elijah Wood, but I wasn't over the moon excited. You know what I mean? It was the same kind of feeling that like I knew when I was younger. I was in love with this man. I'm pretty sure I was 11 when I first saw like a snippet of Lord of the Rings, and I was in love with this man. And obviously, I guess, I wasn't feeling that anymore. So the feeling of excitement was different. Let's just put it that way. I don't know if any of this makes any sense, but as I was queuing to go meet him, just stand next to him, take a photo and go, I was getting more and more nervous. And when I was standing, like when I could see him, it was surreal. It was really weird. Obviously it's really weird because you pay a lot of money and you stand next to just a person and take a photo with them, and that person has no idea who the fuck you are. And there's like, I don't know, 50 people queuing to take a picture with him, and he doesn't know any of them. And all of these people do know him and are like obsessed or very excited to see him, which just in that context is really weird on its own. But it was really weird seeing him and being like, he's real. And then I got to stand next to him and take a photo with him. And sort of till this day, I still sometimes don't really believe that it happened. It happened. I will, if I remember, put the photo up. I was very nervous So it isn't my favorite photo of me, but just the fact that I got to see him in real life, it was crazy. It was really crazy. So I'm kind of curious, as I'm going in with a sort of dark silvery shimmer on my lid. I'm not really talking you through what I'm doing, but I hope you can see. Who was your childhood crush? I'm very curious to hear who you were obsessed with, and are you still to this day, or like, did they turn out to be a horrible person? Because let's be real, these days a lot of people turn out to be quite bad people. So yeah, that could have happened, or maybe you got to meet them and they weren't nice. That's also a thing. I'm just very curious, like, who was your biggest childhood crush? I had several. I had quite a few, I think. I don't know when childhood crushes are like excessive. I feel mine were. So there was obviously Elijah Wood. And sadly, Elijah Wood, I don't think he was considered to be like a heartthrob. So I did not have any posters out of magazines from Elijah Wood. Orlando Bloom. I mean, obviously, I guess, if you've watched Lord of the Rings and you fall in love with Elijah Wood, then chances are you also fall in love with Orlando Bloom, because he's just a stunning man. I cannot put it any differently. That's just what it is, in my opinion. In my very humble opinion. And, well, not after Orlando, I mean, I still had crushes on Orlando Bloom and Elijah Wood, but then we had the whole Twilight craze, and you had Robert Pattinson, and that followed up with Taylor Lautner. I had ginormous posters of them in my bedroom. And then I also really liked Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy. That man did something to my feelings. I remember having a lot of posters of him as well. What else? Were there others? Like, I'm trying to picture my childhood bedroom with all the posters, and I'm pretty sure I did not have an inch of wall space left with my posters. And like, the door was plastered with posters, and my closet was plastered with posters. But those are the ones that come to mind. I think this is I'm gonna clean up this fallout because this is crazy. But this is the sort of smoky warm tone look. Maybe the shimmer in the crease was a little bit too much. I think I'm gonna try and blend it out with a matte a little bit, because I feel like it's a little bit excessive. But then again, who cares? So I'm gonna try and blend out a little bit with a matte. I'm just gonna take that lightest matte that we just used in the beginning. Now I really feel like rewatching Twilight. I honestly would love to do that today. I don't have a lot to do today, so maybe I will. Who knows? So childhood crushes, or maybe there's some crushes right now that you have or still have. So I found out that I still crush pretty hard on Elijah Wood and Robert Pattinson. What are some current, well, I don't want to call them crushes because, like I said, they're different to when I was much younger. But I just have a couple of people that I see and I'm like, I appreciate you. I just appreciate the look of you or the feel of you or both. I think definitely right now it's it's Pedro Pascal, and that got kind of hyped up with The Last of Us. I'm super excited for the next season and also a little bit scared because I do know what's gonna happen. And now they announced Gladiator 2 with Pedro Pascal. I've seen some photos of that. Very excited for that. And then I feel like I have like different sort of levels of, well, I don't want to call them crushes because they're not really crushes, but different sort of levels of how and in what way I appreciate people. So there's people that are just straight up very good looking, and that's about it. But there's also people that obviously I don't know, but I feel like they warm my heart in a way. I'm like, yeah, I just love you because you're cute. I'm not really sure. So I have that feeling, for example, with One Direction. Now, I was a little bit older than most fans when One Direction was very big, but I still really enjoyed their music. And I just always thought these boys are so cute. Like they were around my age, so I don't feel that whole, oh my gosh, I have a huge crush on them sort of feeling, but it's more like we could be friends. Like, I'm pretty sure I could get along with you guys. You're fun, you're outgoing. That's sort of the feeling that I get with them, or that I had with them. And then recently, I mean, I've been to 2 Harry Styles concerts. I've been to 1 Niall concert. And strangely enough, it really sort of felt like I was visiting a friend, which is very sort of delusional because they have no idea that I even exist. But that's just how it felt in a weird way. And then I've always had a weakness for Louis. I don't know what it is, but I just always had a weakness for him. And then I saw this TikTok about, he was at a festival and he brought a TV so people could watch football. That was, I think, the story. And there were a lot of comments on that video about him having gray hair and looking old, and I just still saw that cute little boy that he was in One Direction, and I don't know, I just felt like he didn't really change, and I was happy to see him happy. It's very weird when you think about it, that you sort of, well, without really knowing or wanting to, you sort of construct this image in your head that you think that celebrities are like, and you could be very wrong or not, but these people don't know you, so it's kind of weird that our minds just make up these people. Well, basically they make them up because all we see is interviews and photo shoots and things that are constructed by media. We don't know really who or how these people are. So it's weird that if I see someone, that my brain just can fill it in and like, oh, he's so nice and he's still the same as he used to be, which I don't know how he used to be. I think I know. I fill it in for myself, but I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this. It's just weird. I can honestly just only say that I just thought Lou looked good. And I did not feel like he had really aged that much. And also, if he did, that doesn't really matter because we all age, do we? So it's whatever. I think there's a lot of shadow in my eyes right now. I think this is the look. Should I darken up? I don't really want to overdo it with the lower lash line smokiness. I think I'm gonna leave it as this. And again, I'm gonna clean up because more fallout happened. I don't know if this talk made any sense. I have so much respect for people who film Get Ready With Me's and tell cohesive stories and like ask questions and also do very good makeup, because I seem to not be able to do any of that. At least not at the same time, but I hope it's okay for you guys. I hope you still enjoyed watching me try and do my makeup, and also that you enjoyed hearing me babble. I'm gonna slightly lighten up this crease. Well, I mean, on my brow bone. You know what? I think it's quite cute. Okay, so I've put on some mascara. I'm gonna put some white in my inner corner. I'm not gonna top it with a shimmer this time because I feel like this whole eye look has a lot of shimmer already. So to kind of balance it out, I'm just gonna do a matte white inner corner. I should also fill in my brows a little bit, I think. I haven't really found the perfect color for my brows yet. Like, I don't know what color to use. Because if I use light browns, they're mostly too warm. But then when I use cooler tones, they're too like purpley. I don't know, I think this, it works. Is it the best? I don't know. I also don't think it's the worst, so. Just also don't look at me for inspiration for your brows because I don't know what I'm doing. And then I'll finish up with some blush. I like to bring my blush up quite high on the sides of my face. I don't wear base makeup, but I do like to put on a bit of blush to sort of enhance my natural blushy look. Even though it's only for a couple of hours, it doesn't really matter. I like it. So there's that. And the highlighter. I think for this warm toned look, I'm gonna go with a more pinky, cool toned highlighter. Is it really cool toned? It's not really cool toned, but it's pink and I like that, so put that on. there you have it. And then maybe we can top it with like the tiniest bit of the Twilight highlighter, which isn't very opaque, but it has a very like purple reflect to it. Oh my gosh. That finger is very disgusting. It's eyeshadow, I promise. So we're gonna top. Ooh, yeah, I love that. Beautiful. Okay, and then that is it. Gosh, I don't know if this video topic made any sense, but I really do enjoy this eye look. Still weird to do these shots, but there you go. Oh, I'm gonna zoom you out. Oh, my battery's flashing at me. It's almost empty. So I'm gonna go. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will hopefully see you in one of my next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.